We are about to talk about how to go from fractured to focused. Every time I hear our next speaker share, I get new tidbits, new pieces of golden nuggets and information. So be sure to have your pens ready or your fingers, right? I believe Janelle yesterday had us put our fingers over the keyboard because she was like, "Yes, we're gonna have you chat, we're gonna have you type, all the good things." So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the wonderful Christine Campbell Rapin. And Christine, okay, is going to share with us how to go from fractured to focused, igniting your client growth in the next 90 days. She is an energetic, I can't speak today, tell it like it is business advisor, mentor, consultant, and speaker with more than 25 years experience in marketing, sales, and operations. She's worked with startups to the biggest companies on the planet, and she's the owner of Clear Acceleration Inc. She believes business can be elegantly simple when you know what to focus on to create success. She's also a 3 times international best-selling co-author, and she loves talking how to do growth in a simplistic way. So I'm super excited to welcome to the stage Christine. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here today and to fire up everybody in the room. Because I have a really basic question.
Let's
Do
hear it.
you want to get paid? Like that, it's not a rhetorical question. I actually want to pop in the chat. Please come in and play with me. If you're actually here to create a business that makes you money, some money, any money, big money, small money. I'm not here to judge your size and your aspirations, but I am here to ask you a very direct question. Do you want to actually get paid? Because I will tell you the most fascinating thing for what I do as a business owner, I help people find clients. My clients have had the best year of their business. And everywhere else we're hearing is the sky is falling. It's hard to find clients. It's gotten weird. People don't want to pay. I'm not here to buy into that BS. Are you? Because it is utter, total BS. There is so much money moving hands. If it's not moving to you, it's because you don't want it or you're not going after it. And this needs to change. Because if not, you have a damn expensive hobby. And we've all been at the hobby stage. But I go back to my question and I see some people popping it in the chat. Do you actually want to make money? And I tell you this isn't just you. I'm like this all the time. Kimberly knows that. I am shocked. I'm in so many communities that we pay for. So you should pay to be in this community. You should have bought the VIP. You're going to be in the action taking room here. And I say to people, do you want to make money? They're like, yeah, I really want clients. I'm like, then why are you doing everything but the thing that gets you clients? Like, seriously, this is an incompatible thing. I run a lead sprint in my business. It's 30 days. And for 3 minutes or less every day, I tell you exactly what to do to find a client. So like, there's no guesswork, there's no spaghetti at the wall. And here is the most consistent thing I hear. Holy crap, I can't find 30 minutes to go execute this. I'm like, well, if you can't find 30 minutes to go after clients, no wonder you're not getting paid. And they're all like, this is an ass kicking, Christine, pardon the language. And I said, well, do you want to get clients? Because the goal here, and I want you to commit to this, if you're here in the room and you're saying, yes, I want to do this. Yes, like Tina is saying, I want to get paid. I want you to write this commitment to yourself. I will get off zero. Because this is the biggest shift you need to recognize. There's only 3 reasons in the business world why you don't have the business you want. Here's the fabulous part of that. All 3 of these are solvable. So your commitment is to solve it. And so I want to hear you pop it in the chat. I will get off zero. I will solve the problem of finding clients, because without this, nothing else is a priority. Nothing, because you'll be broke and you don't have any money. And you then need to go and sell stuff or go get a job. And it's just serious, serious business. Number one, if you don't know how to find clients, pay quick attention. I'm going to give you the answer today. If you do know how and it's not working, which means it's not predictable, you're not confident, and you're scared at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can't pay your bills, then you have a blind spot, which means you're not doing what's required. And that's cool. We all have blind spots. But the only way to solve this then is to be in things like our lead sprint, which says, just tell me what to do and I'll do it in 30 minutes or less, and I'll stop wasting the rest of the day. And that's cool. That's an option. Option 3 is like, I want this, but I'm just more committed to my comfort zone. I'm waiting for today to be sunny. I'm waiting for today to be perfect. I'm waiting for us to get another certification, and you're stalling. And here's the news you need to hear. It's up to you to want this or not, but you are creating exactly the business you have. Inputs equal outputs. And so if you don't know what inputs to use, let me tell you right now, there are only 2 things that matter when it comes to finding clients. Not the 10,000 tabs you have open in your brain and in your computer, but there's just 2. So let me tell you how to find a client. 2 things predict your revenue in 90 days. And on average, in every business around the planet, it takes on average 90 days to go from, that's curious, to I should pay for that. If you're great, it takes less. If you suck at this, it will take longer. So you get to choose your skill level and grow to the level you want. Number 1 is you have to know what a buyer is. And I'm going to tell you what a buyer is. But chances are you're not talking to buyers right now, and that makes it enormously hard to make money. But buyers have a wallet and a credit card and cash, and your job is to find those people. Your role here is not to find the broke people who can't find you, afford you, or want to put money in your pocket, because that's wasting time. It's in the room of enlightenment where people celebrate you and feel great because they've all taken the same courses, programs, and workshops that you have, but they're not going to be your client. Beware you got stuck in the room of enlightenment. Your client's in the dark. And a person in the dark who is a buyer has 3 things that's going on in their brain, and you are looking for them. Number 1, they know they have a problem. If you're trying to convince a buyer that they have a problem that they don't observe, you'll go broke. Find somebody who already goes, I have a problem. And because I know it, I've tried to solve it, which means they're a buyer. Awesome. I love people who've tried to solve this more than once because they have a pattern of investing. Maybe they've invested in a free workshop. Maybe they've invested in a podcast and listened to it. Maybe they've invested in a book. Maybe they've attended a course. Maybe they've paid a mentor. That's all good behavior because it means that they are moving to solve the problem. And our only job is to say, what have you tried? Why didn't it work? And what is the problem? And if we can ask that question, we lead people to be curious. Our best marketing asset is curiosity. So we have a problem, I've tried to solve it, and there's a gap, and I'm curious about why the gap exists. Would you like me to tell you how to fix that? If they say yes, you have an opportunity to share because you've been invited to share, which means you're not vomiting your business to somebody who's not interested. They're curious. Solve and provide an answer to their curiosity. The third thing that a buyer has as a pattern is a commitment to resources. And resources is a lot of things. It's not just money. It's, I will prioritize this. I will take action to this. I will put time in my brain in this. I will put my heart, my spirit, and my wallet at the table. And so one of the questions we always want to ask people is, how committed are you? And what does that look like for you? Because if they're not committed, you will be dragging them, and that's not any fun at all. So I said that your number 1 responsibility of one of 2 things that will predict your future is, can I spot a buyer? And can I prioritize my day around finding more of them? Because you need to meet more people, more ways, more often. And your ability to define and find a buyer will make or break your business. And chances are you're listening to this going, holy crap, I might be in the wrong room. I might be talking to people who don't need my services. I might be talking to people who can't afford my services. I might not be talking to anybody at all. The only way to solve this is to get clear. And the best way I know I can guide you to say, how do I get clear? Isn't to take your favorite notebook to Starbucks on Tuesday at 2:00 because you scheduled clarity time. It's actually to think this simple question. What's going on for my buyer where it feels like they just stood on a grenade? What's the problem? They're like, holy crap, I've just stood on the grenade. I have an epic problem and I know I have to solve it because I will eventually have to step off this grenade. And when I do, there will be a result, an impact. And you're like, would you like some help getting safely off that grenade? Because it's going to be ugly when you get off it, but you can't stay there forever because eventually the dissatisfaction will light you on fire and your butt will move. But number one is we have to find a buyer, and please beware who is a buyer. Second thing is you must talk money. I asked you if you wanted money. Now let me ask you, are you prepared to talk money? Because it's up to you to make the offer. Your only priority, non-negotiable every single day, is to get out of bed and say, I got out of bed today to find a buyer and to make an offer. And an offer, just so we're clear about what it is and what it isn't, an offer isn't, I posted on social media, buy my stuff. It isn't a newsletter that says, if you want it, come find it. It isn't this passive aggressive attitude we have that, well, you know what I do, so when you want it, you'll come find me. Because that sounds good, but how's it working for you? It's not working for you. An offer is this. Kimberly comes to me and says, Christine, I need more clients. I want to make X amount of revenue by the end of the year. I think I'm wasting some time and I don't know how to do it. I said, Kimberly, who are you looking for? And she says, Christine, I'm looking for them. This is what they do. This is what they experience. This is what they want. And we ask about 1 million questions around what? What if they want? What have they tried? What matters? What do they feel about it? What's the gap? What? Because we can see it. If we can paint the picture of the grenade they stand on, we can find it. And we can also talk to other people who can find it for us too. And she says, okay, I know what I want. I say, great. Kimberly, you need to have a conversation with them. And she just goes, oh God, I got scared. That's okay. You can be scared and do it anyway. Because conversation is the best way to deliver an offer. Because you say, I've got a problem, great. Would you be curious if I showed you how to fix it, solve it, resolve it? Yeah, I'm curious about that. Okay, well, here's my idea. This is what I stand for. This is the pathway I can create results with. And you say, what do you like about that? And they'll tell you. They'll tell you how to sell them. They'll say, I like this about it. Great. Do you like it enough that you believe it would make the difference for you? Yeah. It's better than what I'm doing now, which is spinning my wheels. Okay, great. So if you love it, let me ask you, how committed are you to doing it? What resources do you need? And they'll tell you what the resources are. And you go, great. Our program or service or me can help you provide those resources. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? Yes, it does. Great. So if you like the idea, you're committed to the resources, and you see this as a much better solution than your current reality, would you like me to tell you what the investment is? Yeah, I need to know how to talk about that. And you tell the number and they go, oh my God, that's a lot of money. It's possible that that's their response. You go, yes. And it solves your problem. So how expensive is it to keep your problem? Because now we're at a decision-making moment. You're standing on the grenade and you have to get off the grenade. And getting off the grenade is 2 options. Notice how simple this is? 2 options. You can keep your problem, or I can keep my solution. Which one makes most sense? Because yes, this is the investment. Yes, you've told me it's a better option. Yes, we can move forward. How do you want to pay? An offer is an explicit conversation that is permission-based, and you've got to mention the money because that's how you get paid. And if you focus on just these two things, my job today was to get off zero and go find a buyer. And my job today was to get off zero and make an offer. An offer isn't always money, but people research, people explore, people need to be guided, and a lot more guiding needs to be done than maybe you're aware of. Because every time I guide somebody through the 30-day lead sprint, they go, wow, I never realized I had to do so much work. I said, yeah, you do. You have to work for your clients, work to find them. Always. This isn't a seasonal thing. This is every year you do this in business. And here's what happens. The more you do this, the more people find you, the faster this goes, the more confident it goes, the more predictable your cash becomes. But to go from fractured to focused, I need you to stop doing all the things that aren't these two things. Because until you're making the money you want, nothing else is more important. And here's the cool bit. I know 100% certainty that there's a buyer out there for you today. Somebody made money in business today. Somebody found the client that could have been yours if you got off zero. And how do I know that? Because in Google, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, any name of social media, there were 1 billion searches today for people that had a problem that went to a resource and said, help me find the solution. So if 1 billion people are searching today, I bet you could find one or two. Seems pretty realistic, right? It is scary. Yeah, I'm 100% behind you. It's scary. But you made the choice to get off zero. You made a choice to make money, and you made a choice to be a business owner. This is what it looks like in the world of business. And here's the coolest bit. When you find the right person, they're asking you, help me. And they're borrowing your confidence. You know where you're going. And they're going to get a better result. How cool is that? So if you want to be a cool kid making money, I want to pop in the chat. I want to be a cool kid making money. Because that's how you do it in 90 days or less. Don't believe for a nanosecond nobody's selling in summer. May was the most dangerous month of the year. Because if you don't have the business you want right about now, you're starting to think, it's okay if I take the summer off. I'm like, I want you to play, have ice cream, go to the park, and do all the things you're going to do in business because you have clients paying for it. My busiest season is May, June, and July, and December. Because people go, holy crap, I haven't solved this. I better solve it now. And if I want to solve it now, they come to work with us right now because we'll have clients for you by September. Go find your people. I love it, Sue. I want to be a cool kid making money. How about you shift that just slightly, says, I am a cool kid who makes money in my business. Two things, just it, two things. I built my first business working an hour a day, and I made more success in an hour than most of my peers that worked 60 hours a week. I'm not a unicorn. I just know that I did two things instead of 100. And those two things always create cash. I want to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you can, but right now I want to be a cool kid making money. Thanks, Sue, for shifting that. Not I want to, I am. And then we ask you this, final thing to dream of today. When you shift from fractured to focused, how will you reward yourself for the cash you just created? What do you dream of spending money on? Because if you're going to receive money, you also have to spend it. That's how money is made. That's economic policy. I get it, so I can spend it. You get it, receive it, you spend it too. Ask yourself, how will you celebrate clients? Anybody who follows me on social media knows that I always celebrate a new client with champagne. That's my thing. And so the comment I had from my husband when I arrived home yesterday, he's like, I think we need to go buy another case. I said, yeah, we do. Because we're building client growth. So who's going on a cruise? Who else is going to be celebrating? What are you going to do when you celebrate your client? Because if you don't celebrate money when money comes your way, it will run away.
I love that perspective, Christine. If you don't celebrate when it comes your way, it'll run away, right? Too many of us are got that wrong approach to it. So any questions for Christine? Thank you so much, Christine. I was like, okay, take notes, take notes, take notes, right?
You got to have a Post-it note coming out of a session with me. Always,
Right?
always, always.
Always, always, always. Any questions or big ahas to share around what Christine just shared, right? I love that there's, the two things, right? You got to
Just
know who
two.
your buyer is, and then you got to talk money, right? How many times do we speak with people and I'm like, did you make an offer? Oh no, I just figured they'd say. I was like, you need to make the
Yeah.
offer.
And we've got diluted into what we think an offer is. That's why I did that walking exercise through it. It is permission based. Would you like me to make you an offer? Because if they don't know they're in an offer, you're not in a sales call.
True.
You're not in a sales
So true.
conversation.
So true. You got to frame it, right? You got to
You
know
do.
both sides, right? Both sides need to know what the conversation is. Because if one of us isn't clear on what that is,
No
then we're not
decision gets
on the same
made.
page.
And no decision gets made. And I keep a Post-it note because I'm a Post-it note person. Everyone who knows me knows this. And I remind myself of this every day. My job is to coach somebody who is a potential buyer to a decision, not to judge whether the decision is yes or no. My job is to get the decision because I have to get them to stand off their grenade. Keep the problem or solve the problem.
Love
Simple
it.
choices.
Love
Thanks,
it.
Kimberly.
Absolutely. And Bethany shared to celebrate their forthcoming transformation. That's one of her big ahas. I love one of my big takeaways, which I do, but I want to make more of a ritual around, right? Is celebrating every time you get a new client. What does that look like for you? Have you defined what that is? That's always powerful.
I dance around my office, dance around my kitchen, and I
I do
always
too.
within the 24 hours, this is again timeliness, within 24 hours, we have to toast it.
There you
Because
go.
if you wait a week, you forget how fun it was. And one win leads to another win.
Wins lead to wins lead to wins. Anyone else have a big aha or takeaway or quick question for Christine? I
We
want
got
to
some
say,
cool kids making money. Love it.
I'm sorry.
I feel that in the chat, I can see I've got some cool kids making money.
Right? Yes, we have our people who are cool kids making money. Always great. And Christine, as always, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I always appreciate hearing you speak. There's always something new to be like, now I heard it. Right? Didn't hear it before. Now I heard it this time. So always love that. Fantastic, fantastic. Anyone else have a takeaway we want to share with Christine before we let her go? Not saying anything. Is everyone awake? We're moving. Anyone else was dancing? I was dancing, right? I was dancing so much to the music that Tony had playing in the background before we came back from break that I forgot to turn my camera back on. And he's like, are you here? And I was like, oh, right, camera. That needs to happen because I was having too much fun.
100%.
Right? Awesome, awesome. Ooh, we have another one. My Zoom has frozen again. Come on. Speak in the present tense. Yes. Our
You
language
gotta
is
speak it to be
powerful.
true. Mm-hmm.
How much does the problem cost you? That's a good one, right? Yeah, we're like, Christine goes away, she comes back, she goes away, she comes back. Yeah, speak in the present tense. Our brains can't tell the difference, but our minds know, right? If you talk about, it'll happen at some point. Well, at some point is when it'll happen, right?
Well, and the goal is good. The goal is a repeating pattern. So what pattern are you creating? The someday pattern or the today pattern? I tell people, I love a stable paycheck. I don't know why you don't. So if you want to make money, let's figure out how to build an engine. And I believe it's a client growth engine. And I believe we talk in present tense. And I believe we do the foundational things, which is why, we've said, when you want to know more, come play with us. We're going to show you how to do a repeating pattern of fun success where I'm a cool kid who makes money in my business. And once a blue moon, intentionally as frequently as I want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Have a
And
great
folks,
week.
If you want more from Christine, be sure to grab your gift, her Turn on Your Client Waterfall, The Sky's the Limit. It's an interactive workshop she's hosting on June 17th, I believe.
It is.
Awesome. So be sure to grab your seat at that workshop. She always hosts a very transformative and action oriented, right? Christine's all about action. That's why I love speaking with her and having conversations with her. Be sure to check it out on the dashboard. And when you upgrade to VIP, she's also got her More Buyers, More Money breakthrough, which she is giving to our VIP clients. And of course, you can listen back to this pearls of wisdom that Christine shared with us as well. So Christine, once again, thank you so much. And I'm going to give you a round of applause if everyone wants to give some love to Christine here and say thank you for sharing. Fantastic, fantastic.